Hello and welcome to another episode of the Strength Syndicate podcast. So today we have a bit of a kind of special edition of the podcast. It is a preview for AB Series 7. And today, myself and Lawrence, we are joined by a few special guests. So we have Conor Kiernan, Jayne Jones and Ger Buckley. So how are we all?
Hi, Shane. How are you?
I'm good. Your gym is looking very well in the back.
Just refurbished. Spotless.
Not bad. So I suppose we have a good mixture of competitors on the day here. So we have across the 2 days. So we have Division 1 competitors, Division 2, as well as a Pro-Am competitor. If you have not heard of what AB Series 7 is, it's a powerlifting competition. Obviously, it's going to be held in ABS Powerlifting, as you may have guessed, and it is in aid of Breast Cancer Ireland. So we'll be raising a lot of money on the day for the charity. I think we've raised over 10 grand at this stage. So just before we get into today's topic, which is essentially like predictions and a preview for the day, if you want to head over to the link either in the AB Series 7 bio on Instagram or on my own one on Instagram, at Storey94, just click the link there and you can donate to the cause. And there's also going to be a live stream on the day as well as tickets available if you want to come down and spectate. Right, so to get into the meat and potatoes of today, which will we start off with? Will we start off talking about Division 1 or we
I think let's kind of start at Division 2 and make our way, or start, I don't know, whatever.
Start with the potatoes and then we'll go to the meat.
Yeah.
Best way of doing it.
Trying not to offend anybody here. That was the main point.
Yeah. No, first issue with, we'll start, I suppose, with Division 2 male and then move to Division 2 female. So, according to the flight list so far, there's 35 fine young men competing in the male Division 2, which in of itself is a fucking shit show. I'm looking at the names, I recognise some, not all. First one, top of the list, sticking out to me is our own lovely Arthur Odlum. I'd like to nominate. I think Arthur could clinch it if he pulls 290.
That'd be big, wouldn't it? 290.
Pretty big.
280, 290, I think.
And what's he weighing, Jane? 100?
He'll be getting near 100.
3 times body weight. That'd be impressive.
Yeah,
you'd win with that.
Yeah, and I think the thing about Arthur's training recently is that his squat and his bench have come along a lot. He's always kind of been a big puller, but since hopping into wraps, his squat has gone up a bit and he's been working on his bench as well. So I think he's going to look at a nice, well-rounded total and hopefully a big pull near the end if he needs to.
That's the thing, Lawrence. I'd say the knee wraps, a lot of those lads won't be wearing knee wraps.
Yeah, but then
I'd be surprised it'd be more than 50% in sleeves, I'd say.
Yeah. I think Vinny Chung, another pretty
He's good. Yeah, he's good.
Nice squat.
He's on for a good squat, yeah.
Do
you know, there's a lad, you're probably not familiar with him, Philip Ewing. He used to be coached by Garrett Small.
Yeah.
That's both a good and bad thing. But I think he's looking at 600 at 80 kilo last post he put up. That'd be decent dots.
Well, yeah.
Talking about 415.
I think that's about 405 or something, isn't it?
410, 415, yeah, if he gets that.
There's a guy who contacted me, like, I'm gonna say a week or two ago. I'm actually not exaggerating. I can't even see him here on the list now, but he said he was competing. And he showed me his thing, but he's competing in the teens. That's
in suspense there, Lawrence.
Said anything.
What's his name?
If he was in Division 2, I think he'd be very much in the ballpark. He squats. He's, I think, 81 kilos, squats 220, benches 140, and I think 45. I think he'll pull upwards of 250.
Oh, is this Sean Duggan, is it?
No, he's a young guy. He's 19 and he's, I don't know, is he?
The guy in the teens, that's his name.
Is it
Sean
Dara?
Duggan.
Yeah, Sean Duggan is in teens, yeah.
And he
I have him to win that.
Dylan O'Brien as well is in the teen division, so I'd be looking at him too.
Was he?
Yeah.
But don't have him to win it.
I've
I've seen him fail like 4 lifts in the past 2 weeks.
He's failed more benches than I've seen anyone else fail.
He's failed more benches than benches I've done. He's a madman.
The guy's name is Dustin De Piro.
Oh, do you know what? I actually do have him. I recognize that name. Seen him on social media. He's never done a comp before.
No, but he came down to me there the other day because he was.
Yes, he's from Carlow, isn't he?
He's in IT Carlow, and
I thought you'd know him. Yeah.
No, I didn't.
It's DDP Fitness on Instagram.
Yeah.
So wait, are we talking about teens at the moment or Division 2?
I don't know. Is teens happening?
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
There's about 10 lads. There's like 8 or 10 lads. I have Sean Duggan to win it purely because he's done 2 comps already. The rest of the lads are new to it. And again, I'm not sure if they're going to be wearing wraps or not. I believe Sean is. I could be wrong though.
Yeah,
Dustin. Yeah, he's been doing 260 deadlifting training, 150 bench. Like they're good number at like 90 kilo.
Yeah, he'll be thereabouts. I don't know.
He's getting the commands.
Yeah,
because it's his first comp. You got a lot of it was like my 3rd or 4th comp before I actually got the commands down.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing with Division 2. It's so many people's first competition, and they're not training in that setting where they're getting the commands. So people can be putting up big numbers on Instagram, but they have to be able to put it together on the comp day as well.
Yeah,
you have to factor in nerves as well. You can never compete in front of a crowd. Like, it could either really excite you or you could be shitting yourself before you go out to your first squat,
It'll be a big crowd. So you're like 250 people, 300. That's going to be a big debut comp.
I'm gonna throw it out there. I think Evan Moore, dark horse for Division 2. Conor is looking very.
I have a plan for Evan.
He has a plan. I think Evan could nip it if he
the win. I'd say he could come 3rd.
Evan can do very well in this. He's looking on some big numbers here. Like, he's looking for some big numbers.
I think he'll improve a lot.
I think though the dot score because of his weight. It doesn't favour the bigger lads.
Favor him, but he's looking for some big score, big deadlifts.
Yeah, podium is definitely on the cards, but again, it all comes down to who handles the day better. But if he has you coaching him, like a lot of those lads won't have a coach.
True.
They won't have someone selecting their numbers, so that's another edge for him.
Yeah. No, yeah. I think I am excited to see Division 2 because there's a lot of lads there. Like, there's a lot of lads that we know at least that kind of came on leaps and bounds. There's a guy I've been training with, Kieran. He's in Abs Kilkenny, and he hope if things go his way, like hopefully he'll put 40 kilos in his total. Then Evan Wallace as well. Kind of his training came on a good bit.
What's the man's name there? I seen him, Eddie McGarry. Did he bench 170 recently?
I think so. Yeah, and he's a young guy as well, is he not?
Yeah, I think Rian was telling me he was looking after him for a bit or something, and he benched 170, which is pretty good. Like, I think he has a private Instagram, so I can't see.
Division 2 females, women. I think Listus.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't think that's a debate. No.
Lawrence, I'm going to say one thing.
One.
I love a debate. Liz Gibney, are you familiar with that name?
Yeah.
Laura's best friend.
Yeah.
Watch out for her.
Okay. Where is she training?
I have no idea. She could be in a commercial gym. She could be up in Blanche. I know Laura goes to is it Westside sometimes to do her benching. She could be training there. I would just say because she obviously she mates with Laura. I'd be surprised if she didn't get some tips off Laura how to compete, how to train. Just watch her. I don't know. I put her on the watch list.
She'd definitely be if you think she's there. But I just think Listus will probably be so. Like,
yeah, it's her first comp too, so you never know.
Yeah,
but then
Listus is like if she can put it together on the day, which as we were mentioning there, like people's first competition. I mean, she's going to be hitting at or over like the junior national records in the 84 kilo IPF class. So I think if she, as said, you know, first competition, we never know how things goes, but I think her lifts in the gym at crazy numbers have been easy as well. Like, she definitely has potential to hit even more than that.
Yeah, but as long as she doesn't do handstands in the warm-up room too, wasting energy.
I think she's
her numbers are ridiculous. I've seen her moving numbers where it takes girls 2 or 3 plus years to reach, and she's done it within she's been there 3 months.
Yeah, maximum.
Even. Yeah, so
what, she bench 100 kilos, didn't they?
95 or something.
Yeah.
I think I seen 100 there on the bar. Like, that's nuts. You know what I mean?
She pulled 160 like an opener as well. Like, a lot of girls be looking to get to that number for, as Ger said, like 2 or 3 years. So
anyone else to watch? Like, it's top 3. And you have another name?
Again, there's a lot of names in that category as well. I think there's 20 girls. I know there's a few girls from the gym. I know Ava Foley, I think she's near 63. She's pulled 140, benched 67 for a double, and squatting near 120.
Yeah, I've watched
so
her
she could
train.
be near the top. Yeah.
Yeah, she could do well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say
she could get near the top 3.
Yeah, it's Listus to lose anyway. And then maybe Liz and Ava, maybe they might catch her if she has a bad day. But yeah, that'd be my top 3 anyway.
I think there's a girl there. I don't know why this name rings a bell. Aideen Rafferty. I have a feeling Evan Wallace. I don't know why that name just rings out to me. I think he was.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Like 150 in reps or 160 in reps or something.
Yeah, she has a strong deadlift as well.
And she's pretty strong.
The same too.
I'm fairly sure she'll be in the mix there. She could well nip Listus, depending on how Listus squat goes. Again, it's all like, I think in Division 2 people can put up Instagram lifts like Jayne was saying, and just the nerves on the day, commands can get to them. So who knows what could happen. Moving on, Division 1 men. I think it's, without us being biased here towards our boys,
Ian's to lose, I'd say.
That's probably
I think
Ian's gonna have a good day.
Yeah, Ian, if he can hold on to a deadlift bar, I think hopefully, like, he's incredibly strong. Like, I think Ian goes, just based off his training, watch him on Instagram, I think he goes 265, 180, 320. That would give him 770 at 105, 464 dots. In very close contention of second. I think Shane, if he, as in stories, Shane goes 700. I think Shane, if you can get down to 86, 463 dots. I think if you can go 250, 160, 290, which I think is obtainable for you, that'll give you 463 dots. That'll put you a very close second potentially. In third place, I don't know what David O'Connor's training's been like. He's a pretty.
I put him in my top 3.
Yeah,
me too.
It's funny. My top 3 is very different from yours.
Is it?
I've names that you haven't mentioned yet. I think that's probably the most competitive class. It's actually, if you think about it, the amount of guys that got promoted from Division 2 at the last comp, you've got AJ, Rian, McKeever, Mario, Mark Escobarte, whose deadlift is looking fabulous. 240 at, like, he only weighs 60 odd kilo. That'd be massive dots. James McCarthy, 815 total. I know he's a big lad, so the dots score, but he'd still be looking at 440 plus, which could win it.
I don't think so. I genuinely think to win D1 you need 450 plus dots, because I think between Shane and Ian, it's just like, for the likes of James and Mark, I think they will definitely be in the region of 450. I think Mario just nipped me the last time to win Division 2, and I think he'd have 407 dots or 406 dots. But I just don't think, I think there'll be a lot of guys will be in 410, the 410, 430 range.
Yeah, I agree with that. But
you do, like, Shane and Ian both around 460. I just think nobody else is really. I think it's between the two of them. It's up to them to lose.
David now, his training, like he's done 800 as a training total.
Yeah.
And I think he's around my weight, 125-ish.
Yeah.
He could be even a little bit more. But that's about 460, 470 dots, 465.
I think
so that could win it.
I think he's third, to be honest.
You think he's third, yeah? Oh, well, yeah, he hasn't done it in comp now, you know, these are training numbers. But obviously, Ian.
The fact he made another cunt of himself as well at the last meet probably didn't really help either.
Didn't help, yeah. I thought we were being unbiased.
No.
Is it that podcast, Lawrence? If that's the case, if it's that podcast, then I'll.
No.
No, if I'm talking purely lifting, no, I know. Like obviously, the last meet he didn't shower himself in glory, and he just had like I think he just done openers. If we're talking about lifting abilities, I think he could definitely win it.
No, I'd agree.
I think the two of them can move big numbers with ease. It's just a matter of who can do it on the day. The two of them are in my top three, but there's other lifters too.
You think David and James are in your top three?
Do you know what? I don't know about the placing, but I go James, McCarthy, Ian Benson.
The only thing I think about James is that he's in sleeves. He did. I think he managed three. Did he squat three at the under-23s thing, Conor? Can you remember?
He fell backwards on the last one. Oh, no, wait. No, I think he got it in the end. I could check the open powerlifting. But
I do think David comes third. Like I think if he puts together the total he's capable of, I would imagine he will be 450 plus dots.
Yeah, he squatted the 300. Yeah, he fell in the second.
A lot of those guys should be in pro-am realistically. Like if they were to hit their potential at last meet, they'd been in pro-am.
What'd be great would be if James, David, Shane, and Ian could all fuck off now out of Division 1.
You win it.
And just leave it to myself and Conor there next April to sort out.
Well, the depressing thing is I'm probably going to come fucking runner up again to another Ian.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Ian Grant beat me last year.
Deja vu. Do you know what? Actually, Shane, I was just going to say, if you come top three in sleeves, that's quite impressive, to be fair. I don't think that's something that you see quite often.
I think he'll be the first person to get into the pro-am in sleeves.
Colin, Michaela's boyfriend, is in pro-am. The last meet he done, great total. He hit was it 750 at 90 kilo or something like that in sleeves?
Wraps?
No, he's definitely in sleeves the last meet.
Okay, because he's doing this prep in wraps, I thought.
Yeah, he's in wraps now, but he got into pro-am in sleeves.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. I think Division 1, very competitive. I do still think first place between Ian's to lose, Shane could nip it. I think third place then, I think David O'Connor takes it. James McCarthy's lifts, just the last time I saw him, like he's a very good lifter, but I just think his lifts were inconsistent. There was a little bit of inconsistency there. I think if he put it together, I do think maybe he could be in contention for winning.
Yeah.
The ladies then Division 1.
So I think Karen Barry is probably going to win Division 1. Her best dots is 398. Like she's just on the brink of making the pro-am. She's probably looking to qualify from the pro-am for this. I think then for second place, I think it's going to be Aileen Muldoon and Lucia Hughes.
Yeah.
Lucia's best dots are 382 and Aileen's are 385. So based on their last totals, but bearing in mind, like both of them haven't competed since the end of 2019, start of 2020. And just judging off Lucia's lifts in the gym, she's made really good progress. And then third place, I'd say, would be between Sarah Flynn and Karen McKernan, based on how things come together on the day. But I definitely have Lucia to place in that class, I think.
Yeah, I think Lucia could win that class. Like she squatted 140 on Sunday and looked like pretty handy, and then she deadlifted 160 for like 3, was it? Not too long ago.
Yeah, she did 160 for a triple, and it was very easy.
Yeah.
I think like it could come down to her like pulling her last deadlift for the win.
Like if she hits that, and then her like most recent bench, she'll have like a 400 dots, like over 400 dots, which would probably win it, you know.
I agree with 1 and 2. I'd say Karen Barry first, Lucia second. I'd put Laura Buckley third because she's in knee wraps and Karen's in sleeves. And I think it might just come down to Laura's quite good at grinding squats. I've seen her compete the last 2 times now, I think.
She's come on a lot as well.
She finds extra kilos. And the thing you have to remember in wraps, you're less fatigued than going into deadlifts. Well, I find that anyway, compared to in sleeves. Yeah, so that'd be my top 3. I'd say Karen might just miss out on 3rd place purely because of the knee sleeves.
Yeah. I think like Laura did add series 4 last year and she won Division 2. I think she only hit her openers in her 2nd attempts and she won Division 2. But she's actually coached by Ian Benson as well and hugely working on her squat over the last few months. I think I've seen her squat 135 in wraps in training. And she does have a good deadlift. I think her PB from the end of last year was 155. So she could be pulling up around the 160 mark as well. And I've seen her bench 77.5 as well. So she could put together a good total to come into the top 3 as well.
I think if the 2 of them had their best meets, I think Laura just nips it. If the 2 of them went 9 out of 9.
Yeah, they're both going to be very interesting fights to watch. So
I think you're going to need 400 to win Division 1 as female. You're going to need to break the 400 dots, which is great to see as well.
Yeah, I think all of the classes are so competitive. I think even with if you go back to Division 2, I do think you're kind of going to, even for the men anyway, at least you're going to need a 410 dots to win. Yeah. For the men Division 1, you're talking like a 460 dots when the qualifying dots is 400. Like it doesn't make like
the amount of lads in the Division 1 that'll do 440. Like
you won't be far off it.
I'm hoping to do it now. Maybe have like Ray McKeever as well. He'd be looking to do it. Mark, AJ.
I forgot Conor was doing it. I'm sorry. I actually forgot you were doing it. I thought you were focusing on IPF Worlds or something. I'm sorry.
Wouldn't get invited to that either.
Can I throw you in my top 3 now? Can I?
No, there's not a chance of making that top
3. Well, I think you'll do very well.
We're all way stronger.
I think you'll do very well.
In terms of promotion, say from Division 1, I think you're going to have Ian, Shane, David, Rian, Conor, AJ, Mark, and James. Like, there's going to be 3 of us. I think me and Mario and maybe Jack. That
looks good.
Yeah, Jack.
I'm training with Jack day in, day out. The last comp we were training, prepping together. He didn't have a great meet last time, but he still qualified, got promoted to Division 1. I'd say if he has his best meet, you're talking 425, 430 dots. Well in contention of top 3 if other lads don't get the numbers they want. But I'm looking at it, man. I don't think there's any weak lifter in that division. Like when I mean weak, I think everyone has the capability of nipping it 3rd if they have an outstanding day.
Everyone bombs, lads. I could be very close to that.
What you should do, Lawrence, after weigh-ins, have a nicely tray of baked goods laced with salmonella. Just get rid of them all.
If
no shows.
13 lads there, if at least 11 of them dropped out, I mean, like I could be fighting.
If they all travel in the same car and crash,
I could be sitting here with a ring on Monday. Like. Okay, so that's Division 1. We kind of any promotions, ladies, Division 1.
I think Lucia definitely be getting into the pro-am for the next comp. Probably Karen Barry's definitely looking to do it as well, and Laura Buckley possibly as well. I think
standard to get in 400.
Yeah,
400 dots. Yeah, so I think, as I said, to get in like winning and podium, you need to be at 400 or just at it in that class.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sweet.
Yeah. I think definitely in what separates Ab Series out is obviously with Shane Storey and Colin Larkin Lynch being the outliers here. Like if you do kind of need to be in wraps to be competitive for the most part.
Yeah, true.
And that's kind of, I suppose, when we get into the Pro-Am here, it's going to be particularly relevant. Okay, will we, I suppose, start with the ladies Pro-Am, because this is a one horse race really, for first place, so to speak. I think there is going to be a big battle in second and third place, because a lot of people have had very good preps. I'm gonna say Laura goes, maybe agree or disagree with me. I think Laura goes maybe 6.35 total. I think she could maybe come on from what she did at the IPO. At the IPO, she did 6.26.
Yeah, I think she will.
Yeah.
I think she's capable. I think she's capable of 6.35. If she weighs in at 87.5, that gives her 573.3 dots, which is fucking mental.
Barnes, if the bookies were involved, what odds would Laura get?
Oh,
I think the thing
you couldn't take bets really, like, because I mean,
you couldn't, man.
If she
just
hits her openers, she can head home.
Yeah.
Really,
like she's gonna win the class, but the thing is, she's not just winning it. Like I know she's kind of definitely ahead to win the class above by a good amount, but like what she did at her IPO meet looked like openers on all of her third attempts. So I think it'll be really exciting to see what she does at Ab Series, and I think she's gearing to kind of push her lifts, which will be exciting to see as well.
Yeah, I think that 6.35 is very doable. I think she could even go, if she benches 130 or 127.5, that 573 dots could be very close to 580 dots, which is downright disrespectful, really.
Wants to crack at a 250 deadlift as well.
Yeah,
madness.
Fucking nuts.
I think just based off of, I think maybe, I know Emma McDermott has competed before, but I don't think she's competing in wraps.
No, she's in sleeves.
No, she's in competing in sleeves. I think because of how close to Worlds it is. So, like her best dots is 4.67, I think.
Yeah.
I think, to be honest though, like her sleeve squat doesn't look like it's too far away from her wrap squat in training. But I think, as you said before, like the wraps, especially in the Pro-Am when everybody's so close, really will give that edge. But as always, Emma's going to have a big pull at the end as well, which gives her an advantage over others. So
yeah, I think second and third, I think Louise potentially second, or
I think so. Yeah.
There's Alicia Quinn. Is she compete? Is she from Limerick? Is she?
Alicia Quinn's from City Gym. She's actually a sub junior. She hasn't competed since junior nationals in 2019, but like she's pulled 172 on a deadlift bar in training. I think she's squatted 150 and benched near 80. So like if Alicia can put together those numbers on the platform, she's looking at, and she weighs under 57 kilos, she's looking at a very big dots.
Yeah, I think Louise's training has gone really, really well. I think she's on for a 200 squat and a 200 pull, and it looks like she could bench 110 plus. So I think Louise could be somewhere around the 470 dots as well. Anna will be in the ballpark. I think Anna's competing in wraps as well. She's had a good run with her bench, and I think her deadlift is going pretty well as well. She's well over a 3 times body weight pull. I think she pulled 160 in training, and that was pretty handy. So, and it could be 460, 470 dots as well. So I think the Pro-Am and the women is going to be very competitive for those second and third spots. obviously-
It's very stacked, and as well, like you have a lot of lightweight women as well. Like we have Pat, Janine, and Anna, who are like 47s and 52s, and all of them are like pulling, as you said, at or over 3 times body weight. Janine and Pat could be benching near double body weight. So like their dots, that's lighter body weight, their dots are going to play favorably for them. I think third place is anyone's ball game. I think it'll come down to last pulls. But I think Louise second and Laura first, definitely.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of points, really. Like there's only a few points between them. Like if I did some statistical analysis beforehand, and
that's very unlike you, Shane.
Yeah, I know I'm not a stats guy, but like even if Emma like does like what she did in training like over the last few weeks, like now she'd probably end up around with 4.64, and then Anna similar enough end up around 4.63. Like if they weighed in the same as they did at the last 2 comps, and then Louise in and around the same. So it's going to be very interesting to see like how second and third does play out.
You know what? I'm actually after changing my top 3 there.
Fine.
So Laura won, obviously. There's nothing controversial about that.
Yeah.
Louise second. I'm going to actually put Emma third. And the reason being, so obviously you have the lighter lifters that can sneak in. But when you're going with deadlift being the last lift, the lighter lifters are all done.
Yeah.
And then Emma gets to say she'll have the last pull to win, to get third or not. It's good even.
Yeah.
Those.
Yeah.
But I actually thinking Jay will put whatever she needs on the bar to pull for thirds.
Yeah, it's up to her.
So it'd be hers to lose that position. The rest of the girls, she already know what the rest of the girls are on.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the likes of Pla, Anna, and Janine.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, and Alicia as well. So yeah, I'd say Emma for third.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that.
I think as well, just to kind of comment, I suppose, like overall on like the female divisions in the competition, like we're probably going to see 3 to 4 girls bench at 100 or over, which I think is just like ridiculous. And that's not just going to be in the pro-am. And like we've got like Lotta's a junior lifter in the pro-am. She like won the under 23s at the last meet, but she's a huge bench, so she's not to be underestimated either. And like Alicia Quinn's a sub junior. We're going to have like 3 to 4 women pulling over 200 in the pro-am as well. I think it's just going to be some epic female lifting that goes down overall.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a lot of barriers broken. It's going to be cool to see. And the female pro-am is on the Sunday as well, isn't it? That's on the Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
So
in conjunction with us.
Yes, that's it.
I think one thing, I suppose this is a good subway subway. That's good.
Food on the brain.
Oh man. I think the men's is kind of fairly neck and neck as well. I suppose there's just been that kind of talk for the last year between Jesse and Jake, with them going head to head. I suppose we have to address that elephant in the room before we go any further with the rest of it. I think, Conor, you threw a spanner into the works there just before we started as well, where you kind of think going to buy takes it. I still think Jesse could nip it. Like if Jesse hits his 935, 940 total, which I think he's capable of, I think that gives him around a 555 dots. Which I just...
If you don't have Jake and Jesse top 2, man, you need your head checked. I don't think anyone else are going to touch them.
Come on, Conor, weigh in.
Not a chance. The thing I own Tobias, I see what he's doing in training, but that's training. You know, you got to come to the platform and do it. And we know what Jake has done. Jake is a game day lifter.
Yeah. Even
Jesse on his worst day still comes out with a 900 plus total.
Yeah.
Whatever, 105, 106 usually. I can't see anyone touching them. Third place is an interesting discussion, but I wouldn't give anyone else a chance to break top 2 unless something like injury, God forbid, or anything like that. I just can't see them losing top 2.
I think Jake could very potentially, like, I don't know. I think it depends on what Jake deadlifts is really going to settle who comes first.
Yeah, I mean, if it came down to it, if both went 8 out of 8 and they're going into their last deadlift, who would your money be on?
Neither of them realistic because they're both fucking drop artists.
Well, if I'm going by training, like the thing about the two, like this, to put it into perspective, I think everyone listening or watching this will know the battle between these two.
Yeah.
You've got an unstoppable force against an immovable object. You've got a guy in Jesse who loves winning, and you've got a guy in Jake who hates losing. He hates it more than anything. So you put the two of them together, I would say both of them going 8 out of 8 into their last deadlifts. So tough to call because Jake, his deadlifts, you can see on his social media, they haven't been going well. He's been dropping the bar. He hasn't been able to hit. I would say he would have liked to have hit a little bit higher in his last pull, just for maybe mentally going into it a bit more confident. His squat has been going amazing, and I think his bench, he's finally got a resurgence on the bench there the last couple of days. But Jesse's training, man, it's looking fantastic. Like everything is on point. He has dropped the bar in comp. You know, he hasn't hit the numbers he set out to hit going into comps, but I don't know. He looks like he's in a good headspace at the moment training in City Gym. I think he's enjoying his training.
Yeah, I think
he looks happy. He looks happier. He looks good, you know. And he could come out and do 940, which would be absolutely insane. He's not doing a weight cut, so he'll be like 115. But 940 at 115, that's huge. You're talking like 565 dots. Jake would need to do like 1050 to beat that 1040.
Well, 935 at 109 would give him 555. So I'd say 945 at 115 and probably being around the same. Because like 6 kilos as you get heavier would definitely call a few points, at least 5 or 6 points. That, but
550 dots.
Yeah. So he's actually with Jesse, like Jesse's whole benefit is that he weighs going into abs. What makes him so competitive is he weighs under 110. So I think for him, if he can be in around 110, it's his to lose. But the only thing I think then, I suppose, just to play devil's advocate, is Jake has beaten Jesse twice.
Yeah, that's true.
He has, when it came down to it, he has performed. So I don't know if I was a betting man, I suppose I'd be saying Jesse if Jesse gets, as you said, 8 for 8 and he's going into that last pull, I'd probably think it's Jesse, but I think I do think if Jake has a good squat and a good bench and he's going into that deadlift feeling confident, I would definitely think if someone put 370 on the bar, I do think he could do it.
Well, that's the thing. If Jesse wants 370, I imagine. I think I've actually seen him. I've been keeping in touch with him, and I believe 370 would be the number he'd be aiming for. So it'd be interesting what approach he'd take to hitting that on his thirds. Because I know the big thing with him is the jumps. I thought the last comp he had a fantastic deadlift, but he opened on 300. I thought that was very smart. Saved energy. Whereas usually he'll open something like 330, he'll get his second, and then that's it.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see how I know Jake makes big jumps himself. If Jesse pulls 370, Jake needs, like imagine the last comp where Jake had to come out and outdo him. If Jesse pulled 370, 372 will be a massive pull after whatever he squats 430. I think if Jesse pulls 370, he has it. I think if he goes 3 out of 3 on deadlift and doesn't mess up squat and bench, I think he might actually win it.
Yeah. I think what do we kind of think numbers wise maybe Jake and Jesse will hit? I think
astronomical.
I think Jake numbers wise, I think he could potentially go 430, 230, and then pull maybe anywhere from 350 to 370, depending on what he can what he can
He'd like a bigger bench, I'd say. I think he done 230 last time. Going into this prep, he probably had 240 in his head.
Yeah, I think he did 227 and a half at the last one. 500 pounds, was it?
Yeah, was.
But I think, I don't know, like, I suppose we can sit here and speculate all day because it's fun, but I do think ultimately Jesse, I saw his last heavy squat, I think it was around 340. It looked tough, but like with a deload and stuff like that, I could see Jesse squatting 350, anywhere from 345 to 350.
Well, that's the thing about the last comp. He opened. I was competing against him last comp, and I think he opened 320, jumped 340, and then that was it. He didn't do a third attempt.
Yeah.
So what I would love to see, I'd love to see him open around 300, 305. Nice, easy opener.
Yeah.
Do your 320. And then or 325 and then go for 350.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I think if he hits 350, we know he's going to hit a 220 bench thereabouts. I mean, his bench is looking fantastic. He's a great 350, 220, 370. I can't see a way of Jake beating him if he does those three numbers. It because dots, we know it favors the lighter guy. It just puts so much pressure on the bigger lad to. Jake could have, as I said, he'd have to do something monstrous like 1040 or 1050 total, which would just be absolutely.
I think he has to beat him by 100 kilos. I think that's what it is. He has to beat him by 100 kilos. I think Jake was saying that to me recently. 100 kilos he needs to beat him by.
Go in slow motion for anyone else or just me? It was like at your barbecue on Friday. You smoking weed over there, yeah?
Internet connection is unstable.
Like, do you know that fast ad when someone has a stroke?
I've got him slurring his speech. Shay looks like Elton John.
Oh man!
Sorry, Conor. What were you saying?
So I think he needs to beat him by 100 kilos. I think that's exactly what it is. It's 100
that's
kilos.
what he needs to do, man. So if Jesse does his 940, I think he told me he wanted. Jake needs to do 1040 or 1042.
Yeah.
So again, it just be like it pushes him. Like they push each other. So the winner, the guaranteed winner will be the crowd watching. You know, that's the thing. The two of them going head to head. We're going to see some monster lifts. I think, who do you have for third place? Any interesting names?
Gareth.
Yeah, I think Gareth.
If Gareth, I suppose, goes just based off his training, I think 305 squat, anywhere from 305 to 310 on a third is doable.
I think so.
195 bench.
Yeah.
Potentially two. And a 320 pull.
Yeah.
The only lift over there I might have a question mark over would be the 320 pull. I know I saw him on Instagram put the 320 pull that he did in Abs Galway, and it was on like Mickey Mouse plates.
If he squats and benches those numbers, he wouldn't need a 320 to come third. I think he'd only need like something like 310. I could be wrong now. I mean, it sounds like Conor has a calculator there, so he can work it out for me. But
he'd have a 522 dots if he total 830 at 95.
Yeah,
so
walls. Which I think he's well capable of it because his training seems to have gone well and his bench is fine.
He usually weighs in under 90 as well, doesn't he? Doesn't he usually weigh in like 89.9?
95.
No, he's been 93 or 94 the last couple of comps, I think.
Okay.
Been a little bit bigger.
He's put on a bit of weight. He's been working alongside a nutritionist as well. So he, like, from talking to him, he seems like he's taking this prep like far more seriously than previous ones.
Yeah.
But another thing is he's actually been offline the last week and a half. I think he broke. So I think that would actually be a blessing in disguise for him. I think he's better off staying offline and just focusing on himself and not seeing what other people are doing.
I just picture him out in fucking Galway in the piss and wind, baiting into a bag or something. No phone, like just oos. No phone. Every wall in the house, not an ounce of fucking drywall left in the thing, just punch marks and no. So yeah, I think Garrett third realistically. I think Rick potentially.
Unfortunately, I don't think Brick has been having the best of preps.
Yeah, I think Brick had like a golden day, which could potentially happen.
Oh man, he came second at one comp, and he beat the likes of Ben, Eamon, beat Garrett. Yeah, on his best day, but I don't think he's had the momentum. I know with the lockdown and all, he didn't train the last couple of weeks, but going into the prep, he was missing from the Sunday sessions, and that adds up. I'd say he told me he'd be happy just to hit the same total as last time, so that kind of puts it into perspective. I think Keen Madden could do quite well. I think if Garrett doesn't show up in terms of performance, I think Keen is not far off Garrett's numbers. The bench, there's a bit of difference, but the squat and
he's a
the
big
deadlift,
squatter.
He could actually hit 310, 315, and he comes in about 93. So I could put him third.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with
certainly
you.
Top 5.
If people don't show up, I suppose we still have this Owen guy that could potentially, I think, maybe nip third place. But Ben as well, I think if Ben squats 325, benches 2 and pulls 350, 360, he'd be in
he'll squat more than that.
I was just gonna say he wants way more than that. He wants to whatever I do, he wants to add 2.5.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what, Lawrence, I'll do 330, he'll do 332. There you go.
So Ben is on for 900 at around 115 to 117.
He'll do 500 dots. He'll definitely do 500 dots. So will Keen. Keen's looking to do 500 dots.
Well, if Ben does 900, which he potentially could with a 360 pull, 330 squat, and so let's say he goes 330, 200, and 360, that'll give him 890, which would be a 518 dots, which would nip Garrett for third.
I think he'd be looking to do 900, to be fair, though. I think 900's there on for him as well.
If Ben goes 900 at 115, I think he takes third.
I don't know what he'll come in at weight-wise. I know he said 115.
He did say 115.
As we get closer to comp day.
But Ben does kind of mad shit as well coming into the thing. Like, he'll be up.
I hope he doesn't. I really hope he doesn't do something silly.
A sauna suit out fucking running the hills, body kick off him or something like.
In the car with the heating on. I hope he doesn't do something silly.
No, but I think Ben goes 900 at 115, which is another fucking retarded total. Give him a 518 dots. But this is all under the premise that people go 9 for 9 as well. Could well be the case that everyone fails their squat or they get terrible bench commands, and I don't know, dark horse comes in like Keen Madden, goes 9 for 9, he takes the W.
Christoph on the bench, so people will have to make sure they have been pausing their bench in training.
Someone needs to bundle that man into a van on Saturday. Drive him away, drive him back to Poland.
Out of the fucking gym. Deported, get ice in, send him back.
I've been doing 3-second pauses in training because of that, man.
Connor does a long pause in all of his benches. He doesn't pause the first rep and does a long pause in the second.
Just in case he's local.
Yes.
Do you know what's mad, right? Out of the 14 lifters, so there's 14 lads doing it, I'd say 12 or 13, 800 plus totals. Maybe every guy will do 800 plus, bar 1 or 2 possibly.
Except for Alex Kremens.
Yeah, I'm looking at Alex and I'm looking at Michael Dixon possibly. I don't know who that is. I just...
Alex Kremens.
Alex does have a big pull for his body weight.
For 800
we're just talking about totals. I'd say 12 800 plus totals. We could see 5 900 plus. I'm looking at Nihad. He's done it already. Ben could do 900. Jesse obviously will. Jake and Eamon.
I think Eamon.
And if Owen, if he shows up and does what he does in training. So you could talk with 5 or 6 lads going 900 plus.
Do we think Eamon pulls 4?
I think he has to. I think to make up for the bench, unfortunately, with the shoulder injury, he needs to get as much kilos on his deadlift as he can. I don't know if I don't know if Jay will let him do 400. I think it's a matter of building up towards it. I'd love to see him do 390, and I know he's doing the Miami comp next year. I'd love to see him do 400 at like a big stage.
Yeah.
I think he's even said that himself. I think he kind of wants to save the 400 for like a special comp. With 390, I could see. I could definitely see 390 happening, and I could see a 380 squat.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And I think his bench, I'd say he'd be happy with 165 or 170.
Yeah, he was saying his bench has been pretty poor. Michael Dixon, he's not a name I've came before. Does anybody kind of know much about him?
I was on his Instagram and looked at his open powerlifting, but he seems a bit off the rest of the lads. And then there's another guy that I think got added only recently. I sent you him, Lawrence.
Yeah.
Yes. Again, like, you know, extremely strong. Like total 915.
Yeah.
But again, I think he's a bit off the rest of the lads.
Yeah, I just don't think. I think when it just comes down to dots, if you're a super heavyweight, if you're over 130 kilos, you need to be totaling 975 plus to 1,000 to be even considered. And then if you're around the 100 to 110 kilo mark, you need to be 920 plus 900. If you're under 100 to be thereabouts. So it probably is one of the most competitive meets this side of America. In fairness, like I don't think there's anyone kind of refuting that. I think on Irish soil, it's probably straight through from Division 2 up to Pro Am. It's the most competitive. So I suppose it's going to be the biggest spectacle that sports entertainment has ever seen.
Yeah, I'd say Ger's gym would have something to say against that.
Hi lad, I'm a live sub man. Shut the fuck up.
Don't be talking about Patrick's well like that, Shane.
Yeah.
That the boys after you.
I suppose an honourable mention to, reality, he probably won't be there in dots, but Alex Cremens at 660 fucking, I don't know, 66 kilos, 65 kilos, potentially do a 10 times bodyweight total. I think he's looking for, if he goes a 210 squat, a 125 bench and a 275 pull, I think that would put him around there.
What dots is that?
It's not that high of a dots because the reality is if he's squatting and if he squats and sleeves,
517.
What is it?
517.
Yeah,
that's man. That's
real good.
Yeah, like
I'm breaking my balls just to get like 470.
Yeah, like if he
got a serious pull.
Yeah, you forget the smaller lads that just like creep up and.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think 517 is going to win on dots, but like that could get third. I mean, it's not 517 won an abs pro only 2 years ago. Do you know, it kind of puts into perspective how good the standard has gotten. I know we dismiss it now. But yeah, he could possibly, if 10 times bodyweight, could probably nip third. I haven't watched his lifting, so I had no idea.
It's him you just wish would just fucking get into a pair of wraps, cut the ball up, get out of it.
You know what? Some of the F guys, they don't get better in wraps. And what happens is they get flustered and it affects their overall performance. I've seen it happen. It's not for everybody. The mindset that wraps will automatically improve your squat, I think, can be a very dangerous mindset for some. I've seen some nasty injuries in wraps. Lads like have to put the effort in. They can't just put it on one prep and hope all goes to well. Like you need work in it. But I do agree with you. I'd love to see some of these names that we mentioned earlier in wraps and see what they are capable of.
It's the very same thing though that putting on a bench shirt or a deadlift suit.
But you need to build up the background. So I think some of these people are another comp or two away from putting wraps on.
Like equipment, I think just improves the technical demand. Like you cannot be a technically bad squatter, put on a pair of knee wraps because you're just going to get folded in half and
it's not going to mask. Yeah, it's not going to mask it.
Yeah.
Are we forgetting about Arthur Odlum here? I can see Jayne laughing in the corner.
That man's spine has an ability to withstand forces that no man's spine can. No, like it just doesn't make sense. Like
You say folding in half.
Hangs upside down now, so he gets away with it. All that decompression, I taught him.
Just doesn't.
He actually is a lot more upright than he was about a year ago. He did a lot of work, but I do think wraps suit him quite well.
Good morning.
Yeah, just takes the pressure off his fucking cervical spine. Forward, like, no, I think what's kind of going to be exciting, I suppose, about this more than anything for me, anyway, at least, is I think you said it earlier, at least, is that there's a crowd.
Yeah,
like it's going to be the first like meet on Irish soil where there's been a big crowd. Probably the first meet in Europe really since COVID that's going to have a big crowd at it. I think maybe there's been a few meets, and I think Yuri Belkin did was it an IPL Europeans and somewhere like fucking Moscow or St. Petersburg last year or something. There was a bit of a crowd at that, but I think outside of that,
is IPL not drug free? No, is IPL not drug free?
No, there's two branches of the IPL. So you have a drug tested, kind of similar to WPC. WPC has a drug tested arm of it now as well. The AWPC, the WRPF were trying to bring in a drug tested arm as well.
So he's half natty.
Probably natty, somewhat, but yeah, I think that's what I'm probably most excited about. Just to see a crowd at a meet, should be fun.
Yeah, and you have myself and Lawrence fucking doing the commentating now.
What?
Oh, really?
I didn't know that.
News to you, isn't it? Yeah, for the pro-am, for the male pro-am.
Oh,
really?
Boys.
Yeah.
The two of you boys, that's not bad shout. But no, for real though, I'm glad that you two are doing that, because I wanted somebody or two people that put in like the passion, but as well as the enthusiasm. So I think that's badly the live stream is only as good as the voices, the commentating. So I'm glad that you two are doing it.
Arranged for me, or how are we working this?
Huh?
We have a translator arranged for me, or how are we working this?
Subtitles.
Put it on like
Mark has
0.5 speed.
Yeah. There's going to be people in like the UK and America just listening to this.
It's like RT News, which are one doing the sign language. What we'll have.
That's it. Blue ticks inbound now on Instagram. That's it. Nice.
Exactly.
Lads, you better hype me up to fuck. Absolutely. Hype me. I need it.
We'll have to organise team songs for the Pro-Am division when everybody's walking out. Like Jay with the Shawn Michaels team song.
What I really wish he did for the Pro-Am, and I was only thinking about it the other day, was make like player profiles, almost like WWE, like do interviews beforehand and like post them up on the page and be like, you and like get a thing going between you and Ben, get a thing going between Jake and Jesse. Do you know what I mean? Like get like
UFC face-offs.
Yeah, really like just stir shit like.
That's what my memes were for, man. What do you think I'll be doing? Stirring the pot the last month.
Yours have been, in fairness to you, though, yours have been more directed at the English boys now. The last, I think the English boys are more memeable though, because there's more fucking lunatics over there.
They also need to catch a plane to get to me.
Yeah, like that. Was it Nick Mellor? Very strong English guy. He was like,
man.
It was like his brain took a.
He's like
in the middle.
He hits like 930 total with like 3 attempts. Like imagine that man went 9 out of 9. He could probably hit 1,000 kilo or even fucking 7 out of 9. He's just crazy strong, like Mong strength.
But he
just needs to be a bit controlled. I think I'd say he runs off with his openers. Obviously, if he's only got need someone to say, you know, it's where you finish, not where you start.
Yeah, but like,
and again, still 900 plus. What the fuck do I know?
Yeah, what did he put? He squatted like 319 training, but it was very high, you know.
He's around 380, 390. He pulls 370, and I say he benches like 220. He's a big lad, big guy.
He's fucking.
But the stand, like we talked about the standard here. To be fair, now, like, all right, the depth can be a bit iffy, but like some of the lifters over in the UK, there are some monsters over there. I'd love to see more of them come over to abs, and we can actually see who's the best. But I do know they are, like, some of them would be put off with how strict abs can be. That's obvious. You can see it. The fact that there's no entries.
Gravitate towards the English pro, like your man Dale Longford.
Dale Longford. I think he could win an abs pro if he came over.
Pro, like his lifts are legit. Like in fairness, your man Chris Pug. I don't know how would you say it.
Yeah. But the thing is, you also like the thing about abs pro. It's not just the difference in standard, but with abs pro, you got the stiff bar as well. I don't think lads be too enthusiastic about coming over and seeing their total being like cut by 50 kilo because of the equipment we're using. But that's what Jay likes to see. He likes to take away those advantages for lifters. But some of the lads just want a big total. That's it. That's the nuts and bolts of it.
Yeah, I think in fairness though, the thing with the abs pro is just it strips away, like you said, the advantage of Jake using like making Jake walk out for anywhere from, let's say in November, anywhere from like 420 to 435 or 440, just strips that advantage he would have in using a mono and a squat bar.
Well, you seen the Nick Meller guy you talked about, he walked out 350, almost necked himself. You know, there's an element.
It was like his brain took a screenshot in the whole weirdest thing I've ever seen.
It was like Conor earlier slurring his speech. He went slow motion there in the hole. And then he woke up. He realized he was at a meet and he needed to finish this lift or he'd get memed, and he stood back up with it.
But he had a pair of earphones in while he was squatting.
Oh, do you know what, man? I've seen that. I'm seeing that more common now. Lads and strongmen do it all the time for record attempts. I don't think it should be allowed.
Is it because they're autistic and there's like a sensory overload? Like
he's got his mate on the
I'm not
stand up.
Shane's like edit.
You said retard and you've also said autistic, so like, you know, I'm gonna have to really go over the head on this one. I just said it again there.
Is that Lawrence, is it? Or me? Did I say right? Did I say that?
It was Lawrence.
Okay.
I'm
your Shane's work is editing room.
Well, yeah. To be fair, I've had like multiple, like in college, like just people come up to me and be like, "You can't talk to people like that." Bit of an issue. Okay. So
I can't understand you anyway, Lawrence.
No,
sorry.
It's fine. It's just nod and smile. So that's our predictions, lads, is it? No anything.
I think that's pretty much it. Yeah. So thank you very much for coming on to the podcast, lads. I'm sure we'll get you back on in the near future for some more predictions of another meet. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the podcast at home. A lot of shite talk, but sure, look, it's all a bit of crack. Not all the podcasts have to be very serious or very informative. So yeah, if you enjoyed the podcast, you can leave a rating on iTunes. You can share on Instagram. You know, do the type of stuff that kind of promotes or helps to get the podcast out to people. You can find myself at Storey94 on Instagram. You can find Lawrence at
_Lawrence King.
And Conor.
I think mine's Conor _Kiernan 562 or something.
And Jayne.
It's Jayne with a Y .Jones with 2 S's at the end.
And
very awkward, Jayne, isn't it? At Patrick's Well Powerlifting Club. Lawrence, do you leave the lights on or do you turn them off?
No, to be honest, where you're sitting is probably the best lighting I've ever seen in the gym, to be honest. And where you're sitting, if you were sitting on the bench, you would be drowned because there's a drip that comes directly down on top of the bench where you'd be sitting. So the fact you have a dry head is very suspicious, to be honest.
Lovely. Grant, thank you very much. Talk to you in the next one.